Okay, so we know that Susie is walking into the desert, and we know how far she walks. 2.5 miles, and we know in a direction that she walks. Okay, and then she turns, and we know the direction that she walks for another 6 miles. And it says how far, so what is the distance to get back to where she started? And that should be a question mark. Ha. Okay, so let's start by drawing her starting position. So let's say she starts right here. Okay, we put a compass at that dot so that we can use the bearing. So north, and then east, and then south, and west. So west, 16 degrees north, means that she's walking this far. This is 16 degrees to the north of west. Okay, so west 16 degrees north means looking to the west, she turns 16 degrees towards north and walks for 2.5 miles. Okay, and then she walks 66 miles due south. So there's due south straight down 6 miles. Okay, now the length of this line doesn't matter, but to be in comparison, if this one were a 2.5 mile long line, then this one should be longer than the 2.5 mile long line. Okay, because we don't know how far, well, the angle, that right, in comparison, but we know that it's 6 miles. Okay, so then she turns, and the question is, how far does she have to walk to get back home? X. Okay, so we are looking for the third side of this triangle. Okay, so when we're looking for side, we're looking for the third side, we need to use the law of cosines. Okay, the law of cosines relates to three sides of a triangle, and we only need to know this angle in order to solve for x. Okay, because if we can solve for the side across, if we know the angle across. So now we have to go to geometry to figure this out. Okay, so let's draw at this point to where she turns another compass. Okay, so once again, this is north, and this is east, and this is south, and this is west. So if she walks at 16 degrees, that means that this is also 16 degrees, right? Because we can continue on. 16 degrees north of west is the same as 16 degrees south of east. So if that's coming in at a 16 degree angle, that means we can subtract it from 90 and figure out that this is 74 degrees here. So this is a 74 degree angle because it's a 90 degree angle between east and south. Okay, so now that we've figured out that's 74 degrees, now we can use the law of cosines to solve for x, or the distance she has to walk. X squared equals 2.5 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 2.5 times 6 times the cosine of 74. Okay, so that's the law of cosines if I were to solve for x and I knew the angle across from it. So x squared equals 33.9809. So taking the square root of both sides means that Susie would have to walk 5.829 miles in order to get back to where she started. Okay, so the key is using geometry to figure out what the measure of the angle across from the side is that we need.